So, ranking the Doctors. I disagreed massively with Dom's opinion, but as I said, that is his opinion and this is just my opinion. I realise that a lot of people around my age probably won't agree with my opinion, as they've probably only watched New Who, and if they have watched Classic Who, didn't like the slow tempo. I personally don't think the tempo is too slow in Classic Who, and if anything, New Who might be a bit fast. Anyway, I'm going to rank the 13 Doctors, including the War Doctor, but not including Jodie Whittaker as she hasn't played the Doctor yet, and my favourite line or lines for some of them. The ranking is based only on TV. I figured if I'd done it based on TV and radio, I'd still be trying to rank them in 10 years' time. Also, I'm not judging them on their acting abilities, only on their character, which is mainly down to the writing. Going straight in with number 13, Colin Baker, the 6th Doctor, 1984 to 1986. I feel guilty about putting him last, as, like I just said now, it is the writing. And his audio adventures are really good, but like I said, it's just on TV. He is unlike all his predecessors, as his clothing suggests he wants to be noticed. He was grumpily written like the 1st and 12th Doctors, but in a much different way. With the 12th Doctor, he can be pleasant and there is humour there which makes one want to go along for the ride of him. With the 1st Doctor, as they said in an adventure in time and in space and time, he had a twinkle, which he shows willingly when he knows someone well, or if he's meeting someone he thinks to be polite, which is worth the stay. But with the 6th Doctor, there's hardly any humour, and hardly any twinkle. This is from a Doctor who literally tried to strangle his companion, Perry, in his first story. My favourite line from the 6th Doctor is from the audio story, The Trial of the Valeyard. Actually, it's a sequence of lines, and I know I said I'm not ranking them on audio, but I'm not ranking it, I'm just showing you my favourite lines.
Counsel for the defence, are you now fully prepared?
Not quite, Madam Inquisitor. I should like a pair of opera glasses and to place an order for ice cream at the interval. Raspberry seems somehow appropriate.
Are you being facetious?
Of course he is. He likens these proceedings to a Terran theatrical farce, a pantomime.
Oh, no, I don't.
Oh, yes, you do.
Got you. But you're wrong anyway. Pantomime has a long and distinguished history. Shan't hear a word said against it. The Gallifreyan legal system, on the other hand...
Have a care, Doctor.
Apologies, Your Honour. But if the skull cap fits...
Number 12. Christopher Eccleston, the 9th Doctor, 2005. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate in the comments for putting him so low down, but I think they're all good, even Colin Baker, and someone has to go this low. It's no fault of his though, it's mainly because Russell T and his crew hadn't got the hang of writing for short-paced Doctor Who yet. This is the first series of New Who, and the first one-parter, apart from the TV movie in 1996, since the 5 Doctors in 1983, which was 90 minutes long. As well as having to write at such a short pace, it was much scarier than most of Classic Who. It made it clear that Doctor Who had changed from a U rating to a PG or 12A rating, so kids at say age 7 might really like Classic Who but be too scared to watch this series. And it stayed a bit scary, but to a lesser extent after this. So it is very much a one season to get the hang of it thing. Also, it was the first time, again, apart from the 1996 TV movie, that a romantic relationship was suggested between the Doctor and the companion. So the main reason he's so low is that the writers hadn't quite got the hang of writing Doctor Who. Number 11. John Hurt, the War Doctor, 2013. The main reason John Hurt is so low is that he only had one major appearance as the War Doctor in the 50th anniversary special. He performed it really well, but like I said before, I like all of them, and it's got really tricky at this point, so one appearances go down. He left it with me wanting more of him, but that sadly isn't enough to get him a place in the top 10. Number 10, Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor, 1996 and 2013. Again, Paul McGann would be higher if I could judge on audio as well as TV, but he only had 2 appearances on TV, so I have to judge him only on those. They are the TV movie in 1996, which was too American for Doctor Who, and The Night of the Doctor, which I thought was brilliant. If they had made a series of him, maybe like the movie, but definitely if it was like The Night of the Doctor, he would be much higher. Also, I love the reference in The Night of the Doctor when he says, Charlie, Chris, Lucy, Tasman, Molly. Charlie, Lucy and Molly, at least, are companions of his from audio adventures, so I assume Chris and Tasman are. Number 9, Peter Capaldi, the 12th Doctor, 2014 to 2017. Again, I think I'm going to get a lot of hate for putting him so low, and I can't believe he ended up so low, but someone's got to be there. The one thing against him is that sometimes his humour is used to change his character. For example, in Robots of Sherwood, when he has all his arguments with Robin Hood, it makes him out to be a very arrogant character. I do, however, like his grumpy portrayal as the Doctor, which brings back to the first incarnation. I'm not sure if this is my favourite line from him, but it's definitely my favourite title line of a speech in Doctor Who.
I am an idiot with a box and a screwdriver.
Number 8, Sylvester McCoy, the 7th Doctor, 1987 to 1989 and 1996. I probably feel the most guilty about putting Sylvester McCoy at 8, because he's definitely better. He had the disadvantage of taking over from Colin Baker, and taking over when the show's future was uncertain. He still managed to portray it well, and used his spur of the moment puns. For example, in Battlefield, he's having a talk with the witch, when the witch says something along the lines of, enjoying your game of chess, Time Lords. He then replies along the line of, who said anything about chess? I'm playing poker. Then his companion Ace appears, and he says, I'm playing poker and I've got an ace up my sleeve. I would show you my favourite line from him, but it gets blocked for copyright. So I'll leave a comment with my other channel, The Free Railway Engines, in the comments with a link to where you can watch it. Number 7, Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor, 2010 to 2013. Again, I feel so guilty now, and from the comments in Dom's videos, I know people aren't going to agree with this. However, Matt Smith is the first Doctor I watched, and the first episode I watched was Let's Kill Hitler. Number 6, William Hartnell, the first Doctor, 1963 to 1966 and 1973. I would have loved so much to put William Hartnell higher, as he was the Doctor who started it all off. Again, I like his grumpy portrayal of the Doctor due to the twinkle he has, and the humour that can come from the grumpiness without changing his character. Also, he is my sister's favourite Doctor. My favourite sequence of lines is probably this.
What's that awful noise?
Yeah. I beg your pardon, awful noise is the way to talk about my singing.
No, Doctor, not that awful noise. The other one. Listen to it.
Into the top 5 with Patrick Troughton, the second Doctor, 1966 to 1969, 1973, 1983, and 1986. Again, I would have loved to put him higher. He is probably much braver than everyone thinks, because he proved that regeneration can work. My favourite line from him is this from The Three Doctors.
Same Time Lord. Please, you're only confusing my assistant. Joe, it's all quite simple. I am he, and he is me.
And we are all together, Goo Goo Kichu?
What?
It's a song by the Beatles.
How does it go? Oh, please be quiet.
Number 4, John Pertwee, the Third Doctor, 1970 to 1974 and 1983. One of the things that I love about the Third Doctor are his relationships with Unit and the Master. With Unit, he has very good friendships with Sergeant Benson and Captain Yates, and a rather humorous relationship with the Brigadier. You can tell that the Doctor doesn't approve of the Brigadier's military ways, and the Brig doesn't always approve of the Doctor's peaceful ways, and doesn't understand most of the Doctor's science. There was an exchange in one of Joe Grant's first stories, when the Doctor finds out that Joe Grant had to send out for equipment that no one had heard of. He said, "Do you mean to tell me that they haven't got a scanning molecular structure analyzer in stock? Oh really, Brigadier, you really should have this place better supplied, you know. I cannot work without proper equipment." And then earlier in the same story, he's being held captive by someone who's been hypnotised from the Master. The Doctor asks what's his friend's name, and the man replies, "His name's none of your business." And the Doctor replies, "A strange name." My favourite line from him probably is this from The Mind of Evil.
Right, Joe. He's got his TARDIS back. He's free to come and go where he pleases, while I'm stuck here on Earth. With you, Brigadier.
Number 3, Peter Davison, the Fifth Doctor, 1981 to 1984. He used to be my favourite Doctor, purely because of my love for cricket. We lost the Ashes, by the way, guys. And he played cricket in the story Black Orchid, when he's mistaken for W.G. Grace. My favourite line from him is probably this.
I will not serve you. You have no choice, Doctor. I wear the coronet of Rassilon. And very fetching it is, too.
Number 2, David Tennant, the 10th Doctor, 2006 to 2010 and 2013. David Tennant is by far the best Doctor from New Who, and it just shows on this list as he is 5 places up from the last New Who Doctor. By this stage, the writers had got it right, and it just goes to show with some of the best episodes of New Who in Blink, The Waters of Mars, The End of Time, Turn Left, Midnight, Utopia, The Stolen Earth and Journey's End. He did, however, also have some of the worst episodes in The Sound of Drums, The Last of the Time Lords, and Love and Monsters, which I have only seen once, which was about 5 years ago. I can't think of my favourite line from him at the moment, but this is a good one.
Alonso. You're kidding me. What? Something else I always wanted to say.
So, my number 1 is Tom Baker, the 4th Doctor, 1974 to 1981 and 2013. There is so much to say about him, with his long scarf, and the writing was brilliant. He managed to entertain and keep attention. A line I like from Tom Baker from The Seeds of Doom is, "How do you do? Have you met Miss Smith? She's my best friend. And this is Mr. Scorby," I don't know his first name, "and these 2 gentlemen," and he points at the 2 guards who have brought in him and Sarah Jane by gunpoint. Another line from The Seeds of Doom. Mr. Chase is about to kill the Doctor when Mr. Hargreaves comes in and wanting Mr. Chase, and the Doctor says, "Oh, go away, can't you see Mr. Chase is busy?" My favourite line from him is this from Genesis of the Daleks.
Excuse me. Can you help me? I'm a spy.
And I have just remembered my favourite David Tennant line, and here it is.